Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics in the shed. We are gearing up for a session tomorrow. We're fresh back from the after trade show, so we've got lots of new toys to play with. So tomorrow we're going to be chasing flathead around the low tide. It's supposed to be windy, so we'll just maneuver ourselves and position ourselves to get a few good casts in. And we're going to be fishing the Big EyeZ new sizes. So Big EyeZ Jigheads, I love them. They've got that big eye to attract fish and trigger strikes, that headlock keeper to lock your plastic in place, nice painted heads to pair up with your pluckies, and that mustard brutally sharp hook. So really good hook for chasing a stack of hard pulling and aggressive species. So there's some 1.5 ounce 7.0s and 8.0s have been added, so hopefully down the track we get to fish those. But tomorrow it's all about the 1.630 and the 1/4 5.0. So we're going to be testing those, giving them a run on the flatties. So the 1.630 I'm going to pair up with some 3-inch SwimZ, and that's going to be perfect for the shallow water edge bite flatties. And then we're also going to throw that 1/4 5.0. So the 1/4 5.0 we're going to pair with a 6-inch DarterZ, 5-inch streaks, 5-inch centered jerk shads, and that's going to give us that nice light head for fishing the shallows and working the edges and that sort of thing with that larger presentation, and hopefully we can get ourselves a big flatty on that bigger jig head. So that's the 1.630 1/4 5.0 Big EyeZ. We're going to get out tomorrow and we're going to give them a run, so buckle up, fish on. Found a really nice little piece of water here. There's a weed bank coming out of the drain, so we've got a drain weed bank coming out, and it's kind of cutting the water flow a little bit, and the bait's sitting right in there. I've thrown that very natural profile around a bit, but no joy on it, so I'm going to switch things up to a bit more visible profile on the water for the fish. There's lots of bait flicking there, so hopefully we can stir something up. So I'm going that chartreuse red 1.630 head with a baby bass. Now baby bass colour actually is UV reactive, so it's got a solid UV, so this presentation is going to pop a lot more. I'm going to throw it in that same area and see if we can fire one up. Yep. I was back in that same sort of area again. Same area where the bait's holding. The colour changed that time, changed the colour up to that more UV profile, and we got our bite, so that's pretty cool. Looks like a nice little flatty. Get the net under him. Whoa, not happy. Come on. It's fired up. Just fishing the light 1 to 3 kilo gear, throwing that 1.630. That's a beautiful little flatty to kick things off with. So that didn't take us too long. We threw that opening night colour for a little while there, and then we changed up to that more UV colour, and we got our fish. So I'll give it a look at him. Alright, that wind's a killer today, so I've just spun that camera around. Hopefully we're out of the wind a bit there. There you go, that's that first flatty to kick things off. So that's, you know, getting up towards a 50 centimetre fish, and that switch from the opening night to that more UV colour, and you can see where it is right down inside there. So no problem with the fish spotting that, and no problem with him wanting to eat it as well. So that's the 1.630 in the chartreuse red eyes. Need my pliers to get him out. So that's the 1.630 in the chartreuse red eyes with that baby bass colour, getting that fish straight up. So that's pretty awesome, the new Big EyeZ size. It's going to be perfect for those guys chasing flatties in the shallows like I was here. So that's 3-inch SwimZ 1.630 fishing the shallows. You might be able to see it in the background here. There's a bit of a drain. So I found that drain with a bit of a weed edge coming out. That's creating an eddy. The bait's holding in the eddy, and that's where this guy was holding. Let's dig this plastic out and get him back in the water. Cheers. Alright folks, that's the presentation that got the bite. So we switched it up from that opening night to that baby bass with that chartreuse red eyes, which is one of my favourite colours in the heads, these Big EyeZ, especially when I'm fishing shallow water and that sort of thing. I love that chartreuse red eye. When I get into deeper water, I'll often switch it up to that black with a glow eye, or silver black with a glow eye. I love that glow eye when I get down into sort of 3 meters plus of water. I don't know what's been going on with us lately, folks. We've had to fish some pretty wild weather. I've just changed location after that other fish. I've come into another bit of an edge, and I'm just going to work along the edge. That wind is howling, so hopefully it's not giving you too much grief. And we're just going to sneak along the edge, give this 1630 another go, different edge, see if we can get ourselves a flatfish. Then we might change it up to that 4-50, see if we can get ourselves a big fish. You never know your luck. So it's blowing a gale. I've spot locked us into the wind. We'll grind it out and see how we go. Fish on. Only a little guy, but another on that 1630. So we're battling the conditions today. She is super windy. Might be time to put our 1/4 ounce head on, I think. So that's a couple of flatties in reasonable time on that 1630. We'll get this little bloke back in the water. There we go. Just a pocket rocket. Send him on his way. Timed out, pull out the 1/4 ounce 5R, I reckon, see if we can find a big one. All right, we're battling hard in the breeze. We've got our couple of fish on that 1630. Now we're going to see if we can get find ourselves a big flatty. So this is the 1/4-50. So this is going to be an absolute gem for people chasing snapper, mulloway up on the top, you know, around the lights, around the bridges and that sort of thing. And yeah, snapper over shallow reef, barra up around the mangroves and drains and things, where you want that lighter weight of a 1/4 ounce, but you want that 5/0 hook. You want a nice big solid mustard black nickel chemically sharpened hook for putting the brakes on those big fish. I'm going to throw it on this guy. This is a 6-inch DarterZ, sexy mullet color. Got to flick it around, see if we can find a nice flatty to finish our session, just to make up for the wind and working hard out here to get ourselves a fish. So I'm going to set that up, we're going to get it out, we're going to get ourselves a big flatty. Up on our DarterZ. Fingers crossed it's a decent one. Feels like it's got a little bit of go to it. Might not be an absolute monster, but we'll have a look. That's on our 1/4-50. 1/4-50 Big EyeZ. Quarter-50 Big EyeZ, 6-inch DarterZ, battling the wind. Well, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, it's not a monster, but pretty cool to hook one on that DarterZ. First time fishing it for me. I thought it'd go really well with that 1/4-50. And we've got our fish. Not the monster we were hoping for, but still not going to argue in this crazy weather, that's for sure. That is brilliant. Flatty on the 6-inch DarterZ. Absolutely nailed it on that 1/4-50. Let's see if I can get a hold of him. All right, we gotcha. We gotcha. How's that? He'd be a mid-40s fish, so not that big guy that we were after, but no problem hooking a flatty on a 5/0. So that's the 1/4-50 swimming this darter. That's swimming that DarterZ through maybe metre and a half of water. You can see there he's nailed that, hooked up beautifully. It was a super aggressive take, and that's that 1/4-50 right in the corner of the jaw, hooks beautifully. All right, folks, there we go. So that one was around the high 40s on the DarterZ. So that's a 6-inch DarterZ in sexy mullet on that 1/4-50 Big EyeZ. This plastic fishes awesome in the water. So if you fish it fairly quickly, it gets a beautiful swimming action to it, which will appeal to a lot of big species, that's for sure. Lots of pelagics and big flatties and all sorts of things are going to eat this guy over the shallow flats. I'm fishing it in about 1.5 meters, so I'm just hopping it and rolling it off the bottom, so giving it a few rips, giving it a pause. That guy absolutely smashed that. It was a brutal strike. This looks like a garfish, and there's a lot of garfish into here, so I reckon that's what he thought it was, and he blasted it. So rig's nice on that quarter 5.0, and that 5.0 is a brutal hook. For those of you chasing barra, snapper and other larger species, that quarter 5.0 is going to be a great addition to your kit if you like fishing light for shallow water or that slow natural sink. Righto, fish on. Yep. Oh, I could see a sand pocket there. That was brilliant. Unbelievable. I've cast long cast with the wind right up into a patch of sand, and this fish has just been all over that. It's just climbed up straight away, so that's pretty epic. That's that DarterZ, 6-inch DarterZ on our quarter 5.0. Brilliant. You might be able to see it, not sure with the breeze there, but there's a weed edge runs along there, and there's a big sand patch just up in there, so I launched that cast nice and high to catch the wind and help carry it. Alright folks, unfortunately the GoPro ran out just as I was in the process of fighting this bloke. He had that DarterZ right down in the gob there, and that's a beautiful healthy fish. Another sort of mid 40s up into the high 40s. Ate that DarterZ again in sexy mullet colour on that quarter 5.0, so no problem getting a 5.0 into their gob, and that 1/4 ounce head is brilliant for the water that I'm fishing here. So I'm fishing that metre to 1.5 meters, and I'm just ripping this guy. That take on that one was epic again. This time I'm sitting well back off this edge. I threw a big long cast with the wind, and I landed it right in the sand pocket where I thought this guy might be sitting. He was sitting there and he smashed it. Well, that was epic. When they eat this thing, they certainly do eat it. That was a great take right up in the shallows in a sand pocket where you'd expect that flathead to be. Definitely a cool presentation, and one that I'll be adding to my kit when the fish are on larger bait fish, long slender bait fish like your yellowtail pike, garfish and those sorts of things. Quite often see gar where we're fishing here, so that's a brilliant gar imitation, that 6-inch DarterZ. Yep, there we go. That one's followed it for a little while then. That's another nice flatty. That's another nice fish on that DarterZ. I couldn't resist having another throw. That one's actually followed it for a while and then drilled it as I brought it up towards the surface a bit more. Man, I'm having some fun now, that's for sure. Even in this wind, this is great fun. Boom, he's on. 1/4 5.0, no problem eating that at all. That's another one. I'm just throwing this on 2 to 4 kilo gear, so it's great fun. 2 to 4 kilo red belly, 2-piece, 2500 Ceymar HD, 8-pound Platypus Pulse X8 braid in white, and I'm fishing a 10-pound leader. When you're throwing these big darters around, you might want to up your leader. You might want to up your leader to a 15-pound or something like that. After I got that fish, I told myself I'd have one more cast. I had one more cast. I got this guy on the next cast, so that's pretty wild. That's again on that 1/4 5.0 Big EyeZ. So That hook is well and truly down in there, and he is hooked up solid, pinned twice through the bottom here. And that's going to pop out of that. So that's a mid to high 40s fish, 6-inch darters. Tide has just turned now, so we've had our hour of run out. We've just got the start of the run in, and these guys are fired up eating these 6-inch darters on a 4.50. So I'm just hopping that on the bottom, so I'm casting out there, rip, rip, rip as I wind, stop, hit the bottom. It's got a big profile so they can see it, no problem, and they are absolutely whacking it. Always remember to check your leader after landing a flathead. That fish had chewed this leader. As I said, if you're fishing an area where there's loads of big fish, you may want to up that leader size. I'm running 10 pound there, but you might want to go up to 15 pound if there's a lot of big flatties around. Those guys fishing the Goldie, jumping pin, that sort of area where they're getting a lot of big fish, this plastic is going to be a killer. Definitely I'd put a few in my kit for the Flathead Classic if you're fishing up in the shallows and that sort of thing, areas where there's garfish. This thing just getting smashed today. I'm scenting it up with a bit of Procure. I love the Procure because I put sunscreen on because I'm pretty white, so I get fried. So I put sunscreen on, and you know, sunscreen, bug spray, fuel, all that sort of stuff can put the fish off. So scent will cover up those sort of foreign odors. Also contains bite stimulants, UV enhancements, amino acids, all that stuff to fire them up to bite. More importantly, to make them hang on longer as well. So I'm running the Sardine Pilchard, is one of my favourite, mullet, bloody tuna. There's a heap of good flavours in the range. So that's the Sardine Pilchard on this guy. That looks a bit like a Sardine Pilchard. You can see that tail going crazy in the wind. It does the same thing in the water. So might be an absolute ripper in your kit for the Flathead Classic. Certainly smashing them today. I've switched over to this guy, and I've caught about, I think I've caught probably 3 flatties in about 20 casts. So it's been pretty good, and that's on that 4.50. So I'll have a few more casts for the monster. Otherwise we might tap out for the day because that wind is absolutely ripping. Righto. So I'm basically fishing the darters with 3 quick winds while I rip the plastic. So 1, 2, 3. Rip and wind, kill, let it hit the bottom. 1, 2, 3, kill, let it hit the bottom. That's making that darters dart up off the bottom, that tail's moving, and then it's just swimming back down to the bottom again. The fish have absolutely smashed it, so it looks like it's worth eating. It's a good size for them to eat. They have no problem picking. Oh, there's one. Yep. Ah, oh, missed him. Ah, too busy chatting. But that's that rip and wind. 1, 2, 3, pause. And I felt that fish just pick that up then as I paused. 1, 2, 3, pause to the bottom. Once it's on the bottom, rip, there he is again. Yep. He has followed that plastic. He hit it, missed it that first time while I was talking to you guys. He's followed it up and he's creamed it, so that's pretty epic. They're obviously loving this tail action on this plastic and loving the look of it, the profile of it, so that's incredible. That's crazy. We got a second chance at that guy. So you saw that hit and I missed him, then he came back again and he's drilled it, so that's pretty cool. That's that darters on a rip while I wind it, rip, winding it each time, and then that pause to get it back to the bottom. He's fired up, this bloke. Good fun on that 2 to 4 kilo. That's a beautiful fish. Come on, buddy. Giving me a little bit of stick, this bloke, close to the boat. Come on, in the net, you're in the net. That is a healthy, solid fish in the net. Beautiful. 6-inch darters, wowzers. How's that? Crazy. There you go, guys. That's another healthy flatty into the 50s. That one on that DarterZ and that $4.50. That I'm pumped on that plastic. That's just, that fish has smashed it, rattled it, missed it, came back while I was talking to you guys, boom, nailed it again, and we got him, we got that fish, so that's pretty cool. I'm really pumped on these new jig heads, but I'm absolutely stoked on this 6-inch DarterZ. I haven't fished it like this before, and it is just getting annihilated. If you guys are fishing the Flathead Classic, make sure you add this guy to your kit. 6-inch DarterZ, getting annihilated. That's like 4 nice flatties in 25 casts, something like that, so that's pretty wild. Pinned on that mustard black nickel chemically sharpened hook. It's a brutally strong hook, and in that quarter for fishing the shallow water or slow sink with that larger placky. Just giving it that rip, 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 give it a pause, rip, 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 give it a pause, bang, fish on. So that's pretty cool. Nice flatty, we'll get it back in the water. Yep, you were a fish. Just came up and gave it a little tap and then gave it a couple of rips, let it sink again, and that fish just drilled it. Oh, come on mate, come on mate. Oh, they're loving the DarterZ. Oh, they're loving it. Absolute little power session. There's a, must be a little school of fish there and they're just going crazy on it. Brilliant colour, one of my favourites for the shallows too. That chartreuse red eyes, and I've got a sexy mullet colour on there, so nice UV, high vis sort of colour in this dirty water. The wind's stirring the water up, so they're liking that nice bright colour. Alright folks, that's been an epic little session. It's absolutely howling, so one more cast and we might call it. See if we can keep this continuing, this bite that we're getting, this run of fish. Oh yeah, there's a bite and a fish. That is unbelievable. They are just zoned in on the garfish, I think, and these guys are a great representation of that garfish. I am going to call it after that one because the wind is absolutely howling. I've got to get this boat out of the water. But man, what a session, hey? What a session that is. It's crazy. It's like straight after landing that other one, we got another one. So the fish must be schooled up and feeding here. They are annihilating that quarter 5.0 6-inch DarterZ combo. How good is fishing? You know, to find a, I've fished, caught a lot of flatties, fished a lot of plastics and whatever, but to find a plastic that's got me this excited, I'm super pumped. I'll be back out to throw this guy again, so I hope you've enjoyed that quick little session fishing the new Big EyeZ Jigheads in 1.6, 3.0 and $4.50. Check out that full range of sizes at tackletactics.com.au. But while you're there, make sure you check out that 6-inch DarterZ as well. See you later, buddy. Fish on. Yep. That fish is thrashing on the surface because he followed it up to the top and drilled it. Man, they're on this DarterZ. This thing's got some weight. comes. These fish are just all over this thing. So good. This is a better fish. Oh, that's the one we wanted to finish with. I know I said one more cast and we'll wrap it up, but that's the one I really wanted. I knew there'd be a good one in amongst all these fish feeding. That's a nice big one. We can have a good look at that one. All right, that's her. That's the one we wanted to wrap it up with. That's a 60 bottle, 60 plus centimeter flatty. Given that quarter 5-hour proper test out anyway, so that's a quarter 5.0 Big EyeZ. They are going to be a game changer for shallow water work. So if you're fishing the Flatty Classic, get on those quarter 5.0s with that 6-inch darters. It is just smashing them today. Absolutely brilliant. 60 centimeter flatty. Let's get it back in the water. Let's not muck around. All right, the best thing about catching a flatty like this one is watching it swim away, and that's what we're about to do. That's a big girl. She's going to go and lay some more eggs so we can have some more flatties. Just got to get that hook out of there. Come on. Hook out of there. There we go. Hook out. Nice big flatty. Just send her on her way. Buckle up. That's awesome. Wowzers, folks, what a session. That was epic. It was great fun. So we came out for that last hour of the run out, threw that 1630 around with the 3-inch slimmies, got a nice flatty, and then we worked pretty hard in that wind and then got another one. And then the tide turned to run in, and boom, it just switched on, and we were fishing that quarter 5.0 Big EyeZ with that 6-inch darters and just kept smashing them. They're still biting. I'm just going to bail on them and leave them for you guys, or you know, leave them for another time. But we've had our fun and we ticked off what we wanted to do, which was get out with those new sizes in the Big EyeZ, a jighead that I love, and smack a couple on those new sizes, that 1630 quarter 5.0. And for those of you fishing surf and rocks and offshore and big fish, don't forget those 1.5 ounce 7.0s and 8.0s as well in that Big EyeZ range. They're a brilliant range of jigheads. Head shape's awesome. Big eyes to attract the fish and trigger strikes. That headlock keeper to lock your ZMan plastic in place on the jighead, and that brutally strong mustard hook. So they're up to the fight, whatever you're chasing, whether you're chasing flatties, snapper, mulloway, barra, whatever your target species. Check out that range of Big EyeZ jigheads from TT at tackletactics.com.au and your local TT stockist. Hopefully those 1630 and quarter 5.0 do the job for you guys as well. You asked for them, we added them to the range, so they did the job today. All the best with the fishing. Cheers.